Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sports Factory Podcast. Took a little 2 week break, but we are back because the NBA play in is here. First and foremost, if you're on here, make sure to like this stream. Also, we have Greg and we have Anthony. They both have their separate podcasts. Y'all can go ahead and shout out your podcast real quick. You know, Greg, go ahead, go first. Where you coming from, bro?
It's the Play for Keys podcast, the podcast for casuals. Make sure y'all tap in, man. Be all right.
And Anthony, where you from, man?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it right below my name, the floor spacer, on YouTube, Spotify, all our socials. You'll find us there. If you type in the floor spacer, you might get some cleaning videos about cleaning floors, which is interesting. I type in our name sometimes, and I just get cleaning videos on floors because it's, I guess, literal the floor spacer. I don't really know, but
That's interesting.
Our podcast comes up. I promise.
That's a bet. Well, hey, fellas, I'm gonna just hop right into this, man. The NBA play-in is happening right now. I do want to talk about the Rockets because the Grizzlies Warriors winner is going to face the Rockets. Actually, I'm going to talk about the Rockets right now because why not? Greg. I told you a couple weeks ago, and Anthony, I'm gonna tell you this is something about me that will be accurate. I'm gonna say this forever. What I say, something I say often is plot, right? Storytelling, plot. And the Rockets usually don't have good plot, right? As you've seen throughout the history of the Rockets, a lot of bad things have happened, especially the game where he missed all those threes in a row. And I know I didn't want to play the Warriors, right? But I know in the back of my head, like 2-3 weeks ago, I was like, the Warriors, they 6 seed, 5 seed, 7 seed, 6 seed, 5 seed. I'm like, we're going to play the Warriors. Like, I don't know why, but I know we're going to face Steph Curry. And Greg knows that facing Steph Curry is hell. Hell. 4 out of 5 years, losses in awful ways. So when the Warriors played the Clippers for the right to the playoffs, I could bet $200. I could bet $500. I could bet $1,000. The Warriors going to lose specifically that game. Draymond Green going to blow that layup, and he's going to lose specifically that game. They're going to beat the Grizzlies 100% tonight. And Greg, who are we going to play in the first round? Scream it out loud. Who we playing?
No. We're playing the Grizzlies. I'm a Grizzlies fan tonight. I'm rooting for the Grizzlies tonight. The Grizzlies are gonna win.
Warriors, man.
That's just me. Like, look, I understand that we've had bad luck with them. That a boogeyman. But look, I'm really at the point of my Rockets fandom. Just don't really care anymore about the fearfulness of Steph Curry and them. Like, at this point, it's like, it's like either we're gonna beat them or we're not. But I just have a feeling that Ja Morant's gonna do something. I just have a feeling. I really do. We're hard to beat. We're hard. I'm gonna be honest with you. We're gonna be hard to beat 4 straight times, bro. Like, we're gonna be hard to beat 4 times.
I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Anthony, I'm gonna tell you this, man. I want you to look at me. I want you to really look at me. Because if you ever want me to be passionate about anything, be passionate about this is where I'm gonna be passionate. The Golden State Warriors, I've never hated a team more in my life than the Golden State Warriors. I hate them with every fiber that ever existed. If you go, and I know you watch 2010s basketball, right? So you can understand why I would hate the Golden State Warriors. I haven't hated anything more than that. The day that everyone talks about, the infamous day, that is like NBA lore. Like, it's in a freaking book, in the NBA chapter, the books, like the book that, like the NBA book, basically all the things that ever happened, that day is specifically in there. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to tell you anything, but you know what I'm talking about. That was my 20th birthday. And I know,
Wow.
you see how it hits a little harder, right? And I know I will go back in time and I will see, I saw the schedule for Rockets Warriors, right? I see Game 7 say May 28th. I said, why Game 7 gonna be May? You see, I already know. I was like, why Game 7 gonna be May 28th? Like, why are they gonna do that? Because you know what's gonna happen. Something stupid gonna happen. And the stupidest thing possible happened. So you telling me I gotta relive my PTSD and do this all over again? We finally make the playoffs, 4 years being ass. We finally make the playoffs, and you telling me I gotta do this over again? I gotta do this over again? 2020's basketball gonna be bad for me too? That's tough. Anthony, man, we gonna play the Warriors. Are we gonna beat the Warriors? You think we'll beat the Warriors?
I'm just a little bit more optimistic than you. Sorry.
Well, this is actually kind of funny. If you had Tyler and Gio here, you would have them on your side. Unfortunately, I am the outlier, and I picked Warriors in 7. But it's crazy because the two series that all of us had trouble with was this one and Lakers Timberwolves. And I had Timberwolves advancing. I think Lakers are out first round just because that's just how I'm feeling. But the Rockets and Warriors one is interesting because, of course, I feel like it's going to be overlooked because of the Lakers and Timberwolves just a little bit. But it shouldn't be, to be honest with you. You know, Steph is there. Jimmy's there. No KD, of course. No Clay. The Rockets, of course, having their best season in recent years. Ime, Coach of the Year finalist in my book. So it's tough. Like I said, I could see Rockets I could see Rockets in 7. I could see Warriors in 7. I think it's going to be down to just because with the Rockets, the one thing that we always the one thing that all three of us said together is that they don't have a star. All these guys are collectively playing good, which is not a problem at all. And, you know, with Brooks, Şengün, Jabari Smith's come back from injury, Jalen Green having a great year, Van Vliet. I can go on and on. Amen. He made me full screen. I see my whole face.
That's fine, bro.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't see anything, but it's okay. Just, you know, you would prefer to have the Clippers, right? Because if the Clippers won the last game, it would have been you guys against the Clippers, right?
For sure. I would have definitely preferred that.
Yeah. And they got the Nuggets. The Nuggets probably take that first round against the Clippers. But I think the Rockets will take off hopefully next year. I think KD could be a target. That's kind of what we've been just brainstorming.
Gotcha.
But like I said, my Warriors pick is my pick, but I could see Rockets in 7 easily. And I think I would be perfectly okay with that. That's not a problem. I think it's just the West is too overstacked. And of course the Warriors get in because Jimmy makes them significantly better in the second half. And, you know, that's their missing piece. I don't trust the Warriors big man depth. I mean, but they've been playing small ball significantly well. That's all they're missing is a center, which probably will be addressed in the offseason, hopefully, unless they keep running it back with Draymond, who's going to have gray hair next year, probably his whole head this time. I don't know.
Draymond, the ultimate crash out.
Yeah.
The ultimate crash out.
But I do trust Ime. The Rockets team, it's just a bad matchup. That's all we can say. I think for the Lakers, it's a bad matchup as too. I think Wolves can easily win. Both Gio and Tyler both were the opposite picks with me. Gio had Lakers going to the finals. I said first round, they're out. I think Rockets, Gio and Tyler both had second round exit. And then I, of course, had the Warriors. But we had conference finals. I think unanimously Thunder. Okay. I had Thunder, T-Wolves in my conference finals. They had Thunder and Lakers, both of them.
I think I could see Thunder Lakers. I'm gonna tell you like this. So with plot, I think plot a lot because of the fact that it's usually very accurate. Like who I expect to win usually wins. The Rockets, we're not gonna make the second round if we play the Warriors, Greg. I'm just telling you right now. If we play the Grizzlies, we can make the second round. I'm very confident Grizzlies. Greg, there's a reason why you rooted for the Grizzlies instead of the Warriors. I don't pick Warriors in 7. I pick Warriors in 6 if we play in the Warriors. I know, and here's the reason. And Greg, listen to this too. I knew this was coming back for me. We stopped Curry to 3 points. We talked so much shit too. You go on Rockets Twitter, we were going crazy, boy. Amen Thompson clamping up Steph Curry. I knew in my head, I was like, I'm gonna just do this, but I know it's gonna age terribly because I know we're gonna have to play him again. And I know when we play him again, he ain't gonna score 3 points. Greg, how many points do you think he's gonna score? He ain't gonna score 3. Times it by 10.
I feel like we're gonna make him work for it though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we're gonna make him work for it. Let me backtrack. First and foremost, I guess I'm the only one that just doesn't believe that we're gonna play the Warriors. I'll be honest with you.
For real.
I really think that the Warriors are gonna play the Thunder. And I feel like that's going
For
to be
real.
really uncomfortable for the Thunder. I don't know. That might go a 7-game series depending on how Jimmy Butler goes. Low key, I can see a timeline, and this is probably unpopular. I can see a timeline where the Thunder don't make it out the first round if they play the Warriors. That's just how I feel about it because
That's a
Jimmy Butler.
crazy time.
I think people forget how crazy Jimmy Butler goes in these playoffs. Like we just assume that he's regular season Jimmy, but playoff Jimmy is a real thing, and I think that activates when Curry doesn't get it going. If Jimmy gets off to a hot start, then Steph gets to a hot start. I don't know. And they'll play small ball, and we'll see how Chet kind of addresses that, and the Thunder have like a good lineup. But that's how I feel about it. I think the Memphis wins tonight.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, it would have been a coin flip between the Warrior. I didn't really like having a matchup between the Clippers. If I'm being honest with you, if you tell me there's a healthy Kawhi and a healthy James Harden, like
There's no such thing as healthy Kawhi.
I feel like that. I feel like we're downplaying. I feel like we're downplaying that significantly. And it's James Harden. You think James Harden is not going to try to get back against Houston? No, I'd rather just play the Grizzlies. I'd rather play the Grizzlies.
I mean, for sure.
Play it all you want.
For sure. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Kawhi is Kawhi. I'll take Grizzlies every time. So I don't know,
bro. Kawhi. I'm gonna tell you real quick. The Clippers. I fear them. I fear them for the first 3 games, but like after that, I don't fear them no more because Kawhi Leonard gonna get injured in game 2. Y'all watch Nuggets Clippers. You see Kawhi Leonard gonna bang someone's knee and not play no more. And James Harden gonna shoot. He gonna have a tour date field goal percentage in game 6. And that's going to be the end of it. And that has happened. Literally, Greg, I kid you not. His Houston days, James Harden, literally I know people say he was a choker. I can battle that really well. Because his Houston day, James Harden, he had to play Golden State a lot. And he wasn't as bad as people remember. He just had some bad games. Bro, past that, when he went to Brooklyn and then he went to Philadelphia and then LA Clippers, that to me is when the real oh, my man really ain't playing well in these postseason games. He has a really choker type mentality. That's when that really manifested to me.
I just don't really see. I just don't really see him being bad in Philly. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought he had a really good year. I just think that when you have Embiid that's injured, if your second best player can give you 40 points, and they win those games, I would expect my star player to go ahead and give me those other 2 wins. That's just me. But I mean, if you're expecting James Harden to be your best player, you're not going to win. You're not going to win right now.
But he's James Harden.
Yeah, I mean, he's James Harden in his mid-30s, though. Like, I think you're an incompetent GM if you think James Harden at this point is going to be your best player and win.
But here's the thing. I get it that, okay, James, don't score 40 in game 7, right? Or don't shoot. But like in game 7, in game 7 against Philly, against Boston, he had like 9 points. And then last year, him and Paul George together shot a tour date. Who they play against Dallas? They both shot tour dates, but Kendrick Lamar released his music. That Drake-Kendrick Lamar beef happened the same day. So all of that was taken away. No one talked about that because of Drake and Kendrick Lamar when it was Meet the Grams and Family Matters. So I'm just saying, my man James Harden, if you telling me, James, I need you, James and Kawhi got to be the people that beat Jokic in a game 6, game 7, I swear they losing every time. I can never believe in that. And facing me, James and Kawhi, they're great players, but that's like in theory. They're really like an if team. There's if teams, like if he's healthy, if he doesn't do this, if teams don't work for me.
Yeah, that's fine when you're the Nuggets. Well, if you're telling me I got to play this if team as a Rockets fan, I would rather not. I just would rather not. I don't know. I just rather not. And you're not even as high on Jalen Green right now. So I mean, like, I don't know where this boost of confidence comes in when it comes with the Clippers. Like, I would just rather just not.
Okay, I feel you. Okay, Anthony, what do you
Well, I will say if Memphis does win tonight, which I think is very doable, because new coach, it's but I think that Memphis could win, and then I think the Rockets take that series easily. I think you want Memphis a little bit more right now, just because there may not be some cohesion in a a 7-game series compared to just 1 game. It depends how Ja, Bane, Triple J, their whole bench works out. The whole thing about like the what if teams, like we talk about this all the time. Like, we looked at our preseason picks yesterday. All of us had the Clippers in the bottom half of the West, and they didn't finish in the bottom half of it because we based it on what if Kawhi is not healthy. We literally said the Clippers are going to be one of the worst teams in the West and the whole of NBA. Clearly, they're not. From what we've seen this year, Harden stepped up big. He was on all of our All NBA third teams. Just because you got to get props. Man at second, not at first, but third team is still an honor for him at this age. Kawhi looks good. Zubac was on my all NBA third team. What a year he's had. Norman Powell, he kind of had a drop off after that, injury. But anyway, the Clippers are. I could still see the what if with the Clippers just because of Kawhi. But I don't think you would want to play them if you're the Rockets just because of Kawhi and Harden. I think if you were to advance, who would you play? You would play the 4 or 5 winner, right? Would that be?
No, you play the 3-6 winner.
3-6.
Yeah,
so yeah, T-Wolves, Lakers. Okay, that's kind of,
Yeah,
I'll take my odds. I'll take my odds there because I feel like because even if the T-Wolves come out, I like the odds because we match up well with the T-Wolves. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Rudy Gobert can't hold Sengun at all. So I can respect that. And it may go 7, but based off of the head-to-head matchups that we've had against T-Wolves, I mean, at least this season, they still employ Julius Randle. I don't trust that.
That's something
I'll never trust that.
Yeah, we talked about Randle yesterday too. Like we hope we think JG is probably going to just expose him, and of course in the Knicks they didn't get really far with him on that team. I mean, if he was on that team this year, we could have seen otherwise. But Tyler always says he shoots them out of the series. If he does the same thing with the Wolves this year, then that's it. But AE is there, and like he's my favorite player in the league, and he's gonna try his best. Rudy, I think, is gonna be Stowe's defensive anchor. He always is. Their bench kind of outside Naz Reid. It's a little worrisome. But the Cat trade looks a lot better for them right now because they're still made it in. They still can make it pretty far. They look a lot better second half than they did first half. Of course, the Cat trade makes us look a little better right now, but the defense is a major concern. Michael Malone lost his job because the defense was apparently really bad, and our coach still has his job. So, you kind of bite your tongue there a little bit just because the Knicks have been really good in a poor East. But if you put them in the West, maybe, Tibbs doesn't have his job like Mike Malone does anymore.
That makes sense. I'd say, so that does make sense. Julius Randle definitely, I never liked Julius Randle. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. My friend is a Knicks fan, so I root for the Knicks because the Rockets were irrelevant for a while. And watching Julius Randle, I remember he played in Atlanta some years ago, like the first time y'all made the playoffs in a long time. Boy, that is some of the worst hoops I have ever seen in my life. I don't think that basketball was purely atrocious, boy. I said, this boy is stinking up the joint. So, it hadn't changed since then. Jalen Brunson has changed your life. So, getting rid of Julius Randle, that has been an absolutely beautiful thing for you. So, I'm curious, with Minnesota, I mean, I don't know if that's going to hurt them in the series. I know, for me, I feel the Lakers will definitely win that series just from the fact, like, they're not going to let LeBron and Luka not go to the second round. Like, if the Rockets, this is the dream scenario for the NBA. We play the Warriors. Maybe, Greg, you say the Grizzlies. But say we play the Warriors. If the Warriors beat us, the Lakers beat the Timberwolves. The next matchup is now Lakers versus Warriors. Yeah. That's getting 6 million views on YouTube, every highlight video. That is significantly more important for the NBA than Rockets versus Timberwolves, than Lakers versus Grizzlies. So I'm just saying, like, these foul calls, and Anthony, you said we have no superstar, we have no star player, like there's no like premier guy. that matters in the playoffs because them foul calls they're gonna be coming, and it's not gonna be. I've seen Jalen Green get fouled in some egregious ways over the years, and he has not gone to the free throw line. Yeah. I don't think that's gonna change in the playoffs for real. It's not gonna change. Steph Curry gonna get the fouls. Jalen Green not gonna get them fouls. So, and Jalen Green and Şengün, they have their on and off moments. They have their little inconsistencies. But the Warriors, even though Steve Kerr be doing some stupid shit from time to time, like Buddy Hield taking the shot rather than Steph Curry to tie that game against the Clippers. Like I know he do some things like that, but in a playoff series against our young, inexperienced core, Jalen Green, I think Jalen Green is not going to shoot very well. Fred VanVleet, I think he's shooting like 22% against Golden State this year. And Fred VanVleet be shooting us out of games too. So I honestly don't see it. Beating the Warriors would be like a Merry Christmas for me. I just don't see that. So I do see the Warriors facing the Lakers in the second round. I see the Lakers facing the Thunder in the conference finals. I don't think the Lakers have the ability to beat the Thunder in a playoff series. I think the Thunder make it to the NBA finals. So if we going off of who was our picks, and we can even ask. I'll even ask y'all this: who are y'all picking to make the NBA finals? If you say Jesse, tell me right now, and if you're wrong, you get a freaking bullet to your head. I'm picking Thunder versus Celtics. That is my NBA finals pick: the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Boston Celtics. I feel like that two good teams. They've built really well over the years, and one has 66, 67 wins. Something like that. I forgot. I mean, I lost count after they didn't hit 7. Yeah. And then the Celtics, they got 60 wins as well. I'm picking them too. So that's my pick. But who do y'all pick? Am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong.
You are not wrong. That is my exact same pick from yesterday. Celtics, Thunder, Celtics in 6.
Back to back for them, huh? That's good. Greg, how you feeling?
I'm be honest with you. Based off of how I have things set, I have the Warriors beating the Thunder, so I can't have them coming out the West. Okay. I'm gonna be a little different. Although I do like the Boston Celtics, I'm gonna take Cleveland. I'm gonna take Nuggets Cleveland, and it's not gonna be a good. That's not sexy for
10. They're gonna get 10 views
for NBA viewers. But I mean, look, this is the same. This is the same NBA playoffs that last year. You know, it was Anthony Edwards coming out party. Nobody expected Anthony Edwards to sweep the Suns, and nobody expected the Pacers to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm expecting something not normal to happen in this playoff series. I'm expecting something that is, just going to shake some things up. So that's what I'm going with. Nuggets, Cavs, and I think Cavs take it.
I think if David Stern came back to life, he would make sure that what you said was wrong. He would make sure he would do everything he could to prevent Nuggets versus Cavs without LeBron would annihilate the ratings of the NBA. And I mean, that's good hoop. The hoops would be good. I get it. Jokic and then that defense. Hey, that'd be some good hoops. But the NBA would want, obviously, Lakers Celtics. I think Lakers Cavs would be interesting too. I think LeBron played Cleveland in the NBA Finals. That's like a different twist that that makes it really intriguing. So if Cleveland makes the finals and they face the Lakers, I think that would be entertaining. Thunder versus Cavs is also entertaining because they had like a hell of a matchup earlier this year, and they were on like stupendous paces. Nuggets versus Cavs. Remember Nuggets versus Heat? Boy, that finals.
Yeah, I do. I mean, look.
Finals, they didn't even try.
I mean, you just proved my point, Jesse. Look, it happened. You know what I mean? So it's not impossible that it doesn't happen. So David Stern is not here no more. So
is Adam Silver, right?
He can't stop it. I don't know what to tell you.
Somebody need to stop it. Let me say, so gun to the back of your head. Gun to the back of your head. That's your pick. Somebody blow your brain out to get this wrong. That's your pick.
The only thing I'm confident about is the Cavaliers going to finals. That's my gun to the head. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's really gonna be a coin flip with the West. I really don't know. I'm just gonna pick the Nuggets.
Okay, so he has Nuggets, Cavs. We both have Thunder versus Celtics, so we're both the boring ones. You say Celtics built a little mini dynasty, get two in a row, and get that lead on the Lakers. Get a real lead on the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, like the Nuggets pick is nice because, like, they should have probably been a lot better than they were this year. Just on paper, and Jokic, of course, they may get to the finals. Who knows with their thrown in assistant head coach right into that coach with 3 games to go. That'll secure his job back for next year for sure. Cavs, I think same thing. I'm a big Cavs guy. I just think the Celtics get it done. Unfortunately, I think just because of the experience, I think Missoula definitely outcoaches Atkinson as a first-year head coach coming back. So yeah, but the West, like Greg said, I said on our previous podcast that I think the way the standings finish, the 1 through 7, I think easily can make it out of the West. So that includes the Warriors, the Grizzlies. I don't really think at the moment currently, but any team, maybe the Clippers, not even take those two teams out. Nuggets, I think Lakers easily, Wolves, Warriors, Rockets. We have to see what happens. I think, of course, second round, and then we get our conference finals matchup with the top 2. But the first round in the West, I think, will be a lot more entertaining. The East will be, but I don't think as much, just because we have better teams in the West with the better players, like the Pistons against the Knicks. I know it's going to be a rough series for us because I know the Pistons are on their best year in like my lifetime. So, and I don't want to lose to them. And Tyler picked them against my Knicks because he's a Knicks hater. And he loves the Pistons, and I love the Pistons too. Like we love Cade. We're big Cade guys. So
that's why I want him.
But I hate Tobias Harris. So I want them to lose because I am a advocate of the 76ers and their complete generational fumble with this core is because they signed Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler. And look what happened. So
I would say with that too, because that is a big reason why they did fumble. But Ben Simmons' absolute regression into obscurity,
of course,
me will always that is,
Him, Markel, Embiid is looking like it now. But yeah, those 3 number 1 picks right down the gutter.
And Anthony, though, that's a team that has bad plot. So if you try to figure out what's the plot, they got main characters, they got side characters, they got people who got to be on the opposite side of a story, right? Obviously, to have a main character, you need someone they have to face and beat. That's just how it is. And usually, like me, as a Rockets fan and the 76ers, all these teams, we're on the other side of that. We're on the side of history where we are losing. The Knicks as well. The Knicks literally is the perfect example. I'm not going to lie. This is not no hate none. This is just me. They are the perfect example of a side character because if you go in the 90s, Michael Jordan playing the Knicks, the Knicks gonna lose, but it's perfect because it's New York. You want to increase Michael Jordan's aura. Go to Madison Square Garden and have him drop 55 like that. That's how main characters are strong. That's how they built. So and that's our problem. We facing Steph Curry, and we are that. The Knicks to Michael Jordan is us to Steph Curry. I did want to talk about another team real quick. That's similar to the 76ers in the sense that they had a fumble, and that's the Phoenix Suns. That is a fumble because years ago, as you remember, they were in the NBA Finals. Then the next year, they won 60 games, and they looked good. They had Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. They had some really, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson. They had a really solid team. Like, it was fun. They had those. It was a good vibe in Phoenix. And then they went and got KD, which I think everyone would go get KD if he's available. So I'm not mad at them at that. But then from there, things got stupider because they tried to build some super team and add Bradley Beal and try to stack stuff up. And the result is now an 11th seed. There are 2 things I want to talk about when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. I'm going to talk about the one that's a little more of a hot take, but I didn't want to talk about real quick. Bradley Beal is an absolute thief. That man is a thief. That man robbing that team blind. And he getting $50 million, no trade clause, robbing them blind. And they asked him, Mike Budenholzer asked him, hey, you should play more like, try to play more like Drew Holiday. And then Bradley Beal got offended by that. He said, don't you ever compare me to another player. Bro, Drew Holiday is significant. To me, I don't know, Bradley Beal probably is a better, I guess, basketball player, but Drew Holiday is a better NBA player, if you understand that difference. Like,
exactly.
I wouldn't want him on every team. I don't want Bradley Beal. I would rather have Drew Holiday because he is a championship level player. The fact he got offended by that man is an absolute cancer to that team. He is destroying that team. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, Drew Holiday goes to the Celtics and they're champions the next year. Beal goes to the Suns and they completely plummet in a year and a half. And you're already down another head coach. You're paying off 3 head coaches in the next decade, pretty much. And of course, Bud, Monty just got finished paying off, I think, recently. You're still paying Vogel. You're bringing in somebody else. If you wanna read a book of how to be the worst owner in NBA, just talk to Matt Ishbia. He'll tell you everything you need to know about being the worst owner. But listen, you know, KD's gonna go. We all know this. Beal, I don't know why you signed a contract with the no trade clause. The no trade clause is only valuable in like baseball, like because you have long contracts that are like 10 years plus. And that's it. You don't have no trade clauses in the NBA. If teams got, I don't know why Washington signed that deal. Maybe because they wanted to keep him. I have no idea. It's Washington. But they need a whole rebuild. I'm surprised James Jones is still there as GM. He built this team. I understand that they have no cap space, but you can't, your coach cannot be the scapegoat every single year because you'll be on 20 head coaches by the start of 2030 at this rate. If you're firing mid-season, and Bud made it through the whole season, knock on wood, good for him. But if they bring in somebody worse, I was saying they should go the younger route just because they've been bringing in all vets, Vogel, Bud, Monty, maybe switch it up. But it would work if you trade KD, bring in younger guys, you start a whole new rebuild. Booker's would stay, of course. Beal, I guess. You try to do something with Nurkic. You try to trade picks off of him. I don't know. I mean, Nurkic is gone. They got rid of a first. Nick Richards looks significantly worse than he did. The only positive from this team is Ryan Dunn. That guy's going to be a superstar in the league. All NBA defensive. We love Ryan Dunn. But anything else, just gone. Like that's how we view it, and how I view it too.
Let me ask you, who would take Bradley Beal? Like, let me ask you, who would take him?
Who would take it? I mean, it would have to be like a salary dump kind of situation or ordeal. I'm not saying that
you could facilitate that in the KD trade, because I would think the KD trade would involve 3 teams, just like for players wise. Maybe the Suns want other younger players that the other team, maybe the Rockets don't want to get off of, and they call another team, take Beal. It's it'll be interesting, but I don't think the team that takes on KD would take on Beal.
I think
I wouldn't. Hell no. KD and that's it.
Don't put me. I don't want him. If we're doing this,
you don't want him.
That boy steals the energy from my team, but it would drain this. It's great. What you about to say?
Yeah, it would have to be like a Utah as a third team kind of ordeal. Like it'd have to be like when Washington Wizards took on Chris Paul or something, or it just depends because everybody has a bad contract. At some point, or they deem it like, oh, this contract is untradeable, and then they get traded. So I'm like, okay, well, you found a way. Like there's always a way to get out of a contract. But like I said on my last podcast on Play for Keeps, we got to stop blaming coaches. We got to stop using the scapegoat mentality. And I think one way to stop it, I think shout out to my favorite player of all time, Carmelo Anthony. He had a nice little hot take of, it needs to be a part of the salary cap. Let the coaches' salary be a part of the overall salary cap. And it would diminish how often you would just get rid of a head coach year one. People talk about the Suns, but I think about Milwaukee that still has like 4 people on payroll, including Budenholzer.
Yeah.
Of just coaches that they are currently paying that they've already fired while still having Doc Rivers. I think they have like 4 coaches on payroll. So I'm just like, if you have 4 coaches on payroll and you keep firing them year after year after year, at some point we have to look inwards. Me personally, I understand that I'm not a basketball player. I mean, I like to play basketball. I never play at the highest level. I don't understand the losing the locker room thing. I think that stops after college. I think that stops after having a young team. If you're a vet team like the Nuggets, and I hear you talking about we lost the locker room. I don't know what that really means. It sounds like you want to be a loser. I don't understand what that means. Like at the end of the day, what what does that mean? Oh, you just don't want to listen to what Mike Malone had to say? Like I don't get that. So I like Mike Malone wasn't out here making these step back threes. He's not guarding people 94 feet. You got to get the job done. And when you're a team like the Nuggets, when you're a different team that has like star caliber players and you have a competent roster, there's no excuse for your head coach being fired. I'm sorry, I can't get it. Especially when we already know their team, their coach, the coaches are good. Mike Brown is deemed a good coach. Budenholzer is considered a good coach. JB Bickerstaff is known as a good coach. He got fired, and look what he's doing now with the Pistons. Like, I don't know. I think if we put that up, if we make that the salary cap thing, it would force front office, executives to treat coaches not necessarily on the same level as players, but they would second guess like a firing and so, like figure it out. Like at some point, you would just have to figure it out. Like force it to work, see what you could do, be a GM, do something. But that's how I feel about everything.
Gotcha. Okay, that's a good point. And yeah, there's a lot of the NBA coaches. I say never buy a house, just rent. Especially if you're a Lakers coach, but yeah, just never buy a house because you will get fired. If the slightest bit of friction that exists, you'll get fired. And I love teams and I love players that like to get stuff out the mud, that are patient, and they say instead of like overreacting to certain things, let's figure it out together. Because I think like teams like I know Boston kind of had this, but I know like Ime Udoka did some stuff, and and then now it's Joe Mazzulla. So Ime Udoka obviously would have still been there if those things didn't happen. The Thunder, they got out the mud. They're not like quick to fire people. I think the Rockets, I think we've had that, like we're not just quick to trading everybody and getting rid of things. And obviously Steven Silas, he was just an awful coach. But like if he's just awful, that's one thing. But if you're good and your roster's terrible, like Mike Budenholzer and Frank Vogel, I don't think should have been fired for the simple fact that Bradley Beal is with Devin Booker. That's ridiculous. That's just bad team construction. Like no one's gonna succeed for real with that roster. So just like overreacting to stuff like that, I hate those type of teams. That's why I like the Thunder a lot and I like the Celtics a lot, is because they have organizations like NBA organizations. That's what wins. Like the best organizations win often, and the best organizations. Go ahead.
Even with Houston, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, as much as we talk about Steven Silas being a bad head coach, we waited until his contract ended. We just didn't renew it. We didn't fire him mid-season. True. Even though, I mean, I wouldn't have minded if he got fired mid-season, but I mean, that's just me. But it's just like we just let the contract play out. It was a 3-year contract, but we just let it play out instead of just firing mid-season. Devin Booker is on his 8th coach in the last 11 seasons. He's about to have his 9th head coach and going into his 12th season.
And he's been to the finals, and he's been to he's had good teams, and he's had all these coaches. That's bad. That's just pure bad ownership. I respect players and I respect organizations that have patience. I give you an example of a player perspective. Is that like LaMelo? Even though LaMelo and the Hornets are terrible, he had an interview today, and it was like, would you want to leave? And he's like, no, I think I want to stay here. Let's figure it out. Things are not just gonna be perfect. So that type of everybody say go to Lakers and go to the one of them teams. I'm like. It looked cleaner on a resume if you have the Kobe, Tim Duncan type of thing. You stay your whole career there. Obviously, if the team is giving you shit, then okay, you can move. But I just feel like don't just, if there's a little friction, bro, just let's figure it out. They giving you all this money. If they trying to improve the roster around you, let's figure it out. This does bring me to KD, because this does bring me to my next point with KD. Bro, is his career like? Should it be seen as a failure? And I'm not saying it. Obviously, yes, he scored 30K, and yes, he has 2 championships. But he went to Steph Curry, obviously, to do what he did, and congratulations on doing that. But no one respects those championships like that, because of course you're going to win 2 championships if you're on a 70-win team. You get added to a 70-win team. Look at the rest of his career. What is that? Like what is the? I have my opinion, but I'm gonna let y'all go first, just so I can say what I'm gonna say. But look at the rest of his career. What is that? You tell me. Y'all tell me. What is that?
Well, I think
Go
that yeah, it is interesting. I think Brooklyn would have been a great career if COVID didn't have happened and if James Harden wasn't traded for. I feel like Harden kind of was what really, I guess, tore the team apart a little bit just because of the drama. Of course, like the shot that had his foot on the line, at the end, just unlucky. I was watching that game. I think the Nets, I think KD net on the Nets was really good. Of course, the Suns, it's just unfortunate situation. I think that's what it is. I think once he moves on from the Suns, I think we could look at it kind of in a different way. I think OKC, KD, and Golden State are the best years of his career. Of course, no doubt about it. Brooklyn, I think, kind of started the downfall after everything, but Phoenix, I think, was just a bad pit stop. I think that's literally probably what it comes down to. I think Golden State, of course, I think looking back on the Golden State stuff now, like I don't hate him anymore for it. I don't know if you guys feel the same. Like at the current moment in time he was playing on the Warriors, yes, we hated that team, but the burning passion and the move. But Gio still holds that against him. He hates the Warriors and what KD did. He'll never forget that. Because he's an OKC guy. He's an OKC guy.
I see why.
He can't stand that. And Tyler is a Nets fan. Of course, KD coming to him, and this is a soft spot now for him because he wanted it to work out. It didn't work out. But in my eyes, and like I don't really fault him for doing that anymore. He won the rings. He still had to get it done. He did get it done. If he didn't get it done, it would have been, I think, a whole different story, just a little bit. But with that team, it was, I think, so uncompetitive on many different levels for the Eastern team playing that team. So yeah, I think that's what it comes down to for me. I don't think.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I think I'm done.
No. All right.
No, when you say I'm be honest, then yes, but I'm gonna let you go. These I'm be honest. That means somebody. That means somebody have.
No, I'm gonna be honest. As somebody that didn't like the move, Nah, I mean, not too much on KD at this point. I think when it comes to the Brooklyn situation, I think a lot of people kind of like forget like how weird that Kyrie situation was. I was like, yo, that was definitely kind of weird. It was just kind of out of his control. And it's not even a hindsight thing. I just don't see what the Suns thought was going to happen when you gut your whole roster to go get KD. Like you got rid of McHale, all these different things. Like that's why I had a hot take of, well, not too much now, but like especially like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I was just like anybody that goes and trades for KD, you're not going to win a championship because you would have to essentially gut your roster to go get that kind of quality star player and some draft picks. Instead of just allowing him to walk and sign into free agency. That's why Golden State worked so well. They were able to keep everybody intact, and that's why it just looked so unfair. But with the Suns, I was like, we'd be talking about a totally different Suns team if they were keeping like the majority of their bench and their assets, and then just adding KD. Or just throwing them some draft picks, whatever the case may be. But I don't view KD any worse or better than I have, post Golden State, because it's not like his level of play was diminishing. I mean, he's been pretty much the most consistent thing on all of these rosters. All these rosters look pretty much in turmoil, and every situation is always like we're talking about how bad Harden is, or what Kyrie's not doing, or Devin Booker's falling off, or the coach is this, and the whole time everybody's like, man, AD is one of the best plug and play players we've seen. So I mean, I don't know what to tell him. I don't know what to say. You can hate all you want, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, brother.
I'm gonna say what you're gonna say. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say what you just said. But it's gonna be a little bit different of a sentiment there. I'm not gonna get too crazy here because KD, if you come to Rockets, I don't want you being like, oh, you're not invited to the games. But I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this, bro. Kevin Durant is a great player. He's too great of a player to be on 5 teams. I'm gonna say that first and foremost. Too great of a player to be on 5 teams. That's number one. Number two, you made 2 mistakes in your career, leaving OKC and then leaving Golden State. Those are both mistakes for different reasons. Oklahoma City, and everyone hates to move. I hate to move forever because you can't be the guy up 3-1. This is that friction thing I'm talking about. You up 3-1 against them. You choke, and it's obvious why you're choking. It's not like, why are we choking this game? You played hero ball in game 6 and 7. Y'all break up the joint. Didn't trust your teammates type beat. Cool. I'm thinking they're gonna run it back next year. Just get him some shooters. I don't know. Andre Roberson getting these minutes, he can't shoot. We need to get him some shooters, bro. So you get some shooters out there. Let's see what happens. He says, hell no. I've seen enough. I'm gonna go join them. 73-win team. Got KD on the roster as well. Pissed me off. Didn't make no sense. And the thing, I know Anthony, he's like, if he didn't get it done, he had to. He was going to get it done. Even if he didn't want to get it done, he's going to get it done. Because there's no way you can't get it done because you have infinite spacing. There's infinite spacing. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, those people in that moment telling me KD was better than LeBron. I said, hell no, he ain't better than LeBron. If LeBron had Curry and Thompson, it'd be a video game out there. It would be the most dumbest thing you'd ever see. It'd be a whole video game. It would never be the craziest thing you'd ever see. How the hell they get KD? I still give crazy to this day. To this day, I still be like, what the hell? How the hell that happened? You want to go in state? Draymond Green called him the B word. Draymond Green ruining. They could have had more championships, but Draymond Green cost them about 2 to 3 more championships. He go to Brooklyn. He tried to get the super team stuff happening because KD obviously has a lot of say. He tried to create super teams. Golden State had a super team. Let me try one in Brooklyn. Didn't work. He got swept. Remember one of them years? He did get swept. He did give up that game winner, Jason Tatum buzzer beater. My man was stuck and frozen. You remember that Jason Tatum buzzer beater? I remember that game because that was a good game. He did get swept, right? He go to Phoenix. They play cool. They lose in the second round of the Nuggets. The next year he gets swept again. He gets swept 2 times in 3 years. He's trying to create these super teams because he obviously has to say, I want to get traded to the Suns. I want to go get James Harden. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. And then it's not working. I give him a lot of blame. Of course he's consistent. He plays. He's not like a terrible player, but he's trying to create this super team stuff, and it's not working. But Steph Curry goes and wins a championship without him. People say, oh, my gosh, Steph Curry wouldn't have won those championships without KD. But then Steph Curry go and win a championship without KD before and after him. And KD just keep getting swept. Or not even make the playoffs now. His career, compared to what it should be, right now to me seems like a failure. Because he has 2 championships. Cool. But 2 championships, bro. Of course, Paul George goes to that Warriors team, he get 2 championships. James Harden, many people go, bro.
Hell no, relax.
You think I'm not saying Paul George gonna win Finals MVP. What I am saying is if you had Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, all them boys, you don't think that team literally in that season, KD was gone
they're not beating the Rockets with Paul George, brother. That's not how
I thought you were gonna say LeBron. He talking about the Rockets. I thought you were gonna say LeBron.
They wouldn't even get to LeBron, bro. I promise you. They wouldn't. Nah, but I'm just like, what are you actually blaming KD? Like, I need to know. Like, what are you actually blaming Kevin Durant for? I want to know.
Kevin Durant left OKC, right, to join the super team, and he won those championships. Congratulations, Merry Christmas.
He succeeded.
And he did, right? Because of course he did. Because he's gonna win.
Yeah, he won.
There was those championships have no weight. They have no weight in history. No one respects those championships for real. He don't even respect them championships for real. Anybody bring him? He don't even respect them championships for real. He don't even because he gets touchy with it. It gets a touchy subject, especially because Curry went after him. If Curry didn't win after him, it could be a little okay, I get it. But Curry wins one after him, and basically like solos in that finals and beats a good Boston team. Okay, now it looks the same year KD gets swept, Curry go win the championship. Don't look good, but okay. He leaves Golden State. He goes to Brooklyn. Got Kyrie, cool. He says, I want James Harden too. James Harden will go there. I want James Harden. Creates a super team. It doesn't work. Okay, that don't work. I'm going to Phoenix. I want to create a super team there. He goes there. It don't work. The only super team that ever worked was Golden State and Steph Curry, where he won a championship.
Yeah, because
Steph Curry won without him.
Yeah, because he was a free agent.
KD obviously he's a powerful person. He obviously has the ability to create. Like, he's the one creating these teams. Like, obviously, yes, there's other things happening, but he has a say-so. Like, he has a big say-so in this. He's KD.
He has a say-so. He has a say-so on where he wants to go. But
he said, I want to go to Phoenix. And they trade him to Phoenix.
Yeah,
and I to go to Phoenix.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he said I want to go to Phoenix and get these players up out of here too. I don't think he said that.
I mean, but he said I want to. But he ain't say I want Mikal Bridges on the ground. But he says I want to go. I remember the report saying the teams you want to go to, and Phoenix was number one. He wanted to go to Phoenix. He want to play Chris Paul, Devin Booker. He want to build a little super team, just like he wanted James Harden to go in Brooklyn and build a super team. He been on 2 super teams after Golden State, and it's been flops. He should have stayed in Golden State. If he was gonna be on that freaking spamming BS crap, he should have just stayed in Golden State forever and won all the championships in the world.
Nah, I don't really blame him for leaving Golden State if you're gonna still employ Draymond Green. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm beefed out with Draymond, I'm beefed out with Draymond Green. I can't blame KD for leaving for Golden State, especially if I already got 2 chips, and it's pretty obvious it does not matter what Draymond Green does. He's still gonna be forever employed on this roster. He can punch somebody in the jaw and get awarded $100 million for the next 4 years. Oh, I know what game this is. I know who's priority here. It doesn't matter how good I am. It doesn't matter.
You think KD went to the front office and said, "Hey, it's either me or Draymond"? You think they picked Draymond over KD?
Absolutely. At this point.
No, I mean, I'm talking about back in 2019. They would have done that. Well, he tore his ACL. That might be different. But because you telling me 2-time Finals MVP?
Yeah, because in your same sentiment, they say, okay, we're thinking about moving Draymond, and then Steph Curry says, if you move Draymond, I'm done.
You think you're not
going. Yeah, because Steph Curry loved Draymond more than he loved KD. That's facts. That's facts. How do you think Jordan Poole got up out of there? How do you think Jordan Poole got up out of there?
That's Jordan Poole, though. That's Jordan Poole.
Exactly.
That's Jordan Poole.
Exactly.
Jordan Poole, yeah, trade Jordan
Steph
Poole.
Curry, if Steph Curry says, "Hey, yo, if Draymond leaves, best believe I'm up out of here."
I don't think he'll say that.
Draymond.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he'll lead the Bay Golden State. If Draymond, I know. I feel like with Clay, if you said Clay, that might be like I get that more. But Draymond, I know Draymond important. Draymond, I think Draymond more important than Clay for them championships. I honestly do. I just don't. I just like KD versus Dre. They're gonna be like, nah. If Dre leaves, I leave. That don't. I don't think he's gonna say that. He'd be upset, but I don't think he's gonna say that though. Like that level of drasticness. I don't think he's gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be that level of I don't think it'll be that level of drastic. I don't think it'll ever get to that point because KD's not that kind of person to go up and just tell somebody and demand something, which basically is to my point. I don't think he does that wherever he goes. I don't think he just demands and dictates it's not like a LeBron situation. I really think he says, these are my preferred destinations. I would really like to go here. And then he just allows management to do a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the front loading work, and then he just plugs and plays himself and tries to fit into an offense and just hoop.
I literally just think that's KD should have. How many championships? Like, let's go. Like, if you honestly look at a KD archetype player, how many championships should he have had versus what he has now? Should he have more or less? You can both answer this question.
He may like have one more. Like, I would have him at like 3. Because I think people kind of undervalue, like, this is not the Bill Russell era. People not gonna have like 10 championships. I could see him with 3 championships. I mean, even if he was to stay in OKC, I think eventually he would have won one. That's just my personal opinion. I think
if he won one in OKC, if he won one in OKC, that would be so much. If he won one in OKC, that would be significantly better than his 2 in Golden State. The weight would be freaking 1,000 times heavier. 100%.
But who cares about it?
Yeah.
Who cares about it?
People care about the legacy, bro. People care about legacies, bro. But go ahead, Anthony.
I think everything you guys said is valid. I think I'm an advocate of Steph definitely taking Draymond's side over KD's. Because then you lose your guy you're building a statue for outside your arena. Maybe both, Draymond too. Put them both out for statues. And you know, KD should have won with OKC. I truly believe that if he stayed there, he may have won more than one, depending on how the team was built. I don't know if the OKC one, if he did win there, and then the Golden State one is not as, I guess, notable as the OKC one. It depends. I would think a little bit because OKC is of course the harder, not the harder. They are the what's the correct wording? They were not the super team. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Of course, OKC was not the super team. Golden State was a super team. So OKC, the path would have been a lot harder, depending on how the league was back if he stayed in OKC. The whole Phoenix thing, he didn't want to go there. It was on his list, preferred destinations. I think it was Houston. It was Phoenix, Houston. I'm thinking of other teams. I think Phoenix and Houston were up there with the top. Those are like the top two. I still think Houston, of course, is going to be a top destination regardless. There could be other dark horse teams. The time in Phoenix, Chris Paul was the thing holding them together. They lose him, it all goes to crap. Look at San Antonio. He just played 82 games this season. When has he ever done that? I don't even know if he's ever done that before.
Should have done that for me. He would have been so much happier if he did that for me. Hopefully, if only he did that for the Rockets, man. Go ahead.
Chris Paul,
he's not in the postseason either, though. So I mean,
he's not.
When you need him,
it's the Spurs. If Wemby was healthy, they might have gotten that 10 seed. We don't know. But yeah, I think you guys said it. I think, but back and forth, I agreed with what Greg said and what you said. A lot of things transpired with that whole thing. Of course, I'm not a fan of if you can't beat them, join them. I'm always against that. You go down to the death to beat that team. You're up 3-1. You should be ignited to go next year and get back 4-0, 4-1, and with your same team, you run it back. That just gives you that feeds your fuel for the year. And you go to the Warriors, you don't have that fuel. I mean, you do, but it's not as not a chip on your shoulder. You're just all right, we're cruising with this team, and so on and so forth. The whole Jordan Poole thing you guys mentioned, I do think, the Draymond, they chose Draymond over him clearly because he's in Washington, and they could have used him 100%. He's hooping in Washington. Well, of course, it's Washington, but he's a great player. They could have used him tremendously on that Warriors team. They probably wouldn't have have Jimmy Butler though. Probably unless they could have worked that out in due process. Clay as well. I think that ending was just, they miss him. I could tell because when he returned, they all love him. Of course, it's Clay. Draymond, you said, was more notable for Clay for the championships. I think I would agree a little bit more with Draymond because of the defense and just the passion. Clay, of course, was the second splash bro. Of course, you need the shooting.
Clay.
The shooting is needed. It's necessary. I think they're both very important to that team, regardless. But I think without Draymond, you don't win. Without Clay, you don't win. So I think they kind of balance each other out a little bit. But I understand both sides of that. And, Steve Kerr is still rocking there. And then, Bob Myers retires and the whole Warriors team takes a dip a little bit. But, they're kind of still in the mix. They could get Giannis. We have to see what goes on.
No, they shouldn't get anything else. How plot work, they shouldn't get anything else. Steph Curry's there, and then when he leaves, they should be in hell for 20 years. That's what should happen. They should be like the Bulls. They should be just like the Bulls.
Heart, bro. Get that head out your heart, man.
No, they need to be in hell after that because they've been scamming and spamming teams for years, but there ain't no way, bro. That ain't gonna stay forever. KD, man, I want you to be a Rocket. I have some beef for you from the Warrior years. I think LeBron, honestly, the only reason, I'm not gonna lie, the only reason I don't have LeBron as the GOAT is literally because KD and Steph Curry, and you can say it in both ways, they did that, so that's why he is the GOAT. But the fact that they did that and it ruined his finals record, which I am pissed because I hate the Warriors so much. That's the only reason, because they ruined that man's finals record. He was supposed to have 3 championships in Cleveland, but they ganged up on him and they kept beating him. And he kept losing to them, and it was so frustrating to watch because I hate the Warriors. But that's in the past. That's the 2010s. So now we have hopefully KD. I know, for me, I think your career was not optimized. If you wanted to optimize it, you should have just stayed in Golden State. But now come to Houston with Jabari and Jalen and Alperin and maybe win one. See if you can win one. You're not winning 2 or 3. We're not winning a lot. I'm not gonna say we can dynasty. I ain't one of them. Just give me one. Just pure hoops. Just give me one championship at the end of your career, and let's call it, boy. And I'm fine for the next 20. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I just need to see one of them after that 2018. Shit, I just need to see one. I'd be fine just with one, bro.
Well, I mean, you mentioned guys that you want on that team if KD does go there, but some of the guys could get moved. You could have no Jabari, you could have no Jalen Green. They can go to Phoenix in return.
But luckily, we have all of Phoenix's picks. So
That's
if they ever want to see a future again, then you better listen to me. If they want to see a future and have a future, because they have no leverage. If we have all your collateral, then we can give them some people. I may give him like Cam, because Cam a decent player. He just doesn't get a lot of minutes because, 50-win team now, and he has some locker room issues. Maybe get Reece Shepard. Reed has been playing pretty well, but I'm not giving you my guys. Like, we have your picks. I'm not giving you my guys.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens this offseason, bro. I'm
decisions for sure.
Anthony, I did want to quickly talk about your Knicks versus Pistons. I think that's always important to say.
Yeah.
Now, this is interesting because Cade is hooping. The Pistons are hooping. The Knicks, they're a team that's like iffy to me. Like mentally, they have like the Knicks. They're one of those plot teams, right? That like they can play and then they just start stinking up stuff and then they lose in 6 or 7. Like last year when y'all was supposed to beat the Pacers, I wanted y'all in the conference finals, but unfortunately, your whole team got decimated with injury, right? So things like that tend to happen. How confident are you in beating the Pistons, and in how many games will you beat the Pistons if you are confident?
Well, yeah, I think the Pistons is the favorable matchup for us. If we got Milwaukee, actually, I take that back. I think any other team besides the Pistons would have been at just as hard. I think just the Pistons have a little bit of a fire underneath them right now. They are missing Jaden Ivey, of course. I think that's a massive plus for us, of course, because you're without one less star player. But they're still, regardless, still amazing on the court. I think Cade's going to do a lot with, I guess, everything he does well this season. And Malik Beasley is another phenomenal guy that I love watching. He's a six man of the year for me. Like he'll finish probably second place in 6-man voting. I think Pritchard takes that easily. Tobias Harris, I hope he has 0 for 10 shooting every single night. I don't want that man scoring. Yeah. Jalen Duran, Asar. Like, they're very well built team. They are missing a star, though. That's what I hope they get this summer. But I don't want to see them in the playoffs ever again once they get that star, because then they're going to beat us. No problem, I feel like. For my Knicks side, JB's back. The ankle could be a little iffy. We'll see. Cat needs some defense. That's literally it. OG, just keep hooping. That's all I care from him. Mikhail,
who's that one? OG. Who's that one girl that came on the sideline and then this man?
Suni Lee. We need Suni Lee on every single sideline.
That boy was hooping. That boy locked in. That boy is locked in.
Suni Lee.
Yeah,
we need her at every game for the rest of the postseason because he always goes off. He's locked in. Josh Hart does what Josh Hart does. The only Mikhail Bridges. That's I really don't want him on my team anymore. I was an advocate for him. Okay. But now just looking at it, I don't know, 5, 6 picks for him. I want the picks back. I don't really think he's helped us massively just because I don't see it. Luka only went for 1 first-round pick and we gave up 5.
That's just selling them. That's crazy. That's crazy that the Mavericks
when it happened, I was we're getting the band back together, but now I'm I would have been fine running it back with Randall, but Cat, I think, was a necessity. If we just stopped at Cat and OG, I would have been fine without Mikhail. We would still have our picks. We would be somewhat really good. Dante wouldn't have got traded away. Dante was phenomenal for us, as you know, as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then, oh no, wait, we would not have Dante because he would have went to the trade with Cat regardless. And then, I think Josh Hart was the more valuable keep just because He does everything. He rebounds. He's like playing 48 minutes a game.
Yeah,
And
he was.
You can't disperse the roommates podcast either. Unfortunately, you got to keep that together.
That's a dope podcast.
With
They
him.
are dope.
Yeah.
And get,
So if you let him go, you disperse the podcast and it makes things worse for them. The bench, I just want quality minutes. That's all I ask. I know, like, Tyler calls Landry Shamet the Game 7 curse, and that's why he chose the Pistons in 7, because Landry Shamet was on the Suns, the Clippers, the Nets, all lost in the Game 7s in previous years.
Yeah, true.
But if we're out in the first round, I would definitely want Tibbs to be gone, just because the defense is lackluster on so many parts, and Tibbs preaches defense, and we've seen none of that. But first round, I'm pretty confident we get past. I would be shocked if we get out. Second round, I think, is where it all comes crashing down, unfortunately, because then they're going to get the Celtics. Yeah, they got the Celtics.
Oh, yeah. Y'all the 3 seed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, we'll get the Celtics.
Y'all 0-10 versus the best teams. So
yeah. But
that's tough.
the offseason, I don't see anything happening for us in the offseason. We can't make any moves. It's going to be running the same team back, maybe some better bench pieces. Miles McBride is one of my favorite players we have from the bench. When they drafted him, I was really hyped because I saw him play in West Virginia a little bit in college basketball, and he was really good for them. And he's really good for us now on a cheap deal as well. So we can keep him around. That's fantastic. I would love to move Mitchell Robinson in the offseason. I don't think Mitch should be there anymore. His contract could free up a lot of cap space for us for bench needs. But he looks phenomenal. He looks not phenomenal. He looks pretty good coming back from his injury, though. And he could give us valuable minutes. But I'm just looking at the starting 5 being cohesive together and some defense. And that's really all I care about. That's it.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I think it's either gonna be Knicks in 6 or Pistons in 7. Yeah. In Game 7, I do see I see things falling apart. So I just naturally do so. And you said the curse exists. So if you gonna beat them in 6, because I can see the plot where you're up in 6, you're up in Game 6 by 10, and then Malik Beasley hitting these threes and things going south, and all of a sudden they steal one, and then dang, all your momentum, energy, fight is in the drain, and in Game 7 you just put up a stinker. I can see that completely. So definitely, if you're gonna kill him, make sure you kill him, because the Pistons are on the rise. Greg, it will be Rockets versus Pistons in the 07 finals, 100%. That rivalry been buttoned for years. That rivalry buttoned as soon as Cade and Jalen got drafted, and I'm like, they got the twins. I'm like, that rivalry got to manifest into itself in the 2027 NBA finals. But I'm rooting for your Knicks. I am rooting for your Knicks.
Thank you. I want to get past the first round. That's all I care about.
I got the Knicks. I still think it's going to be in 7, though, but it will be the Knicks for sure.
Right.
Knicks in 7?
I'm okay with that.
Game 7's, boy. I'll tell y'all this, man.
7 at the Garden?
Game 7. Yeah, I mean, last year the Pacers wasn't good for the Knicks when they faced the Pacers in that Game 7. So I'm like, I'm not even trying to put myself in that situation again. Don't even try to put yourself back in there. And that can happen again. You know, Tibbs, he be putting them boys to the ringer, but so that can happen again. That easily can happen again. You want to win it quickly. You go in 7, go in 7 against Boston. Don't go in 7 against the Pistons.
Yeah.
7 in Boston, maybe you could sneak some. 7 against the Pistons, they're going to
get. That Pacers series gives me so much trauma. I always tell our Tyler Nunn, we won that series. If there was no injuries, that series was ours, and I still believe we still won it. In my heart, we won it. That's literally all I care about.
It should have been Knicks versus Celtics in the conference finals. That would have been good ratings, bro.
We would have gotten, but just conference finals sounds so nice.
It does, right? Pacers, Celtics, bro, and it was a sweep. But that was such a trash series, bro. That was all so trash. The Celtics had a really lucky run last year too, though. No, I mean, we're going to have to see what this year, because everybody was injured in that mofo when they were playing teams last year, but it was
exactly.
They were having an easy, fun time. So congrats with them for that. I'm going to say the playoffs, the NBA playoffs, guys, I think the level of stress, I've been a couple years without the stress, but now it's back. Greg, how does this stress compare to all the other sports? Because them Game 7s and Game 6s and that stress is crazy, boy. I'm telling you, boy. So how does that compare? Is that the strongest stress? Is that worse than the playoffs in the MLB, NFL playoffs, or is it Where does that compare? I'm just curious.
There was nothing more stressful than watching a national championship game. I'm gonna be honest with you. There's really nothing that
for NC
as a
the
as
March
a as
Madness
a
Final
Houston
Four.
alum, as a Houston
Yeah, I
alum,
feel. I'm
that was
sorry
a very
about that. I
stressful.
am sorry about.
You know what I
Sorry
mean?
about that.
So
Wow.
it doesn't really get worse than that right there.
Yeah,
But
it's
if I
tough.
had to go for a close second, yeah, I give you
It's very Houston way.
yeah, game 7. Game 7 is probably stressful. I try my best when it comes to like football and stuff. It's like, look, it's one game. Anything can happen. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing, but constant games where it's like, okay, like I can't even get too high on a game winner because I have another game with this same team in like a day and a half. Like that's you can't even be too excited until that final buzzer goes off and then you're off to the next round. So yeah, it's out of on a scale of 1 to 10, this go round, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm gonna be stressed as much this year because I don't have any real expectations for the Rockets. I'll be honest with you. It's not like one of those like, oh, it's the hard in there and we got to get our ring. We're young, and I'm not expecting 22 and 23-year-olds to win the championship. I'm just glad we're here.
I get
Everything's
that.
been ice. Everything is icing on the cake. This is probably the only year I can probably like feel this way of like, okay, like we can lose in the first round and I won't be too sad about it. You know what I mean? I might be annoyed here and there depending on like how we lose, but I mean, I just don't believe we're gonna get swept by anybody. That's just me. We're gonna win the game.
I get that, Greg, but they will create how Houston usually works is that expectations get created in real time. Then
Not for
you
me.
get high. So if we up 3-2 against Golden State, we have 3-2 against Golden State. Game 6, we leading and we lose. We blow both them leads. You tell me you gonna feel good about that?
Nobody said just because I don't feel bad, that doesn't mean I feel good. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna feel like this sickness or like I'm not. Look, all of the energy I had died like the first week of April, brother. Like Florida then took that out of me. I'm fine. Like anything else that happened,
but yeah, there's nothing worse than that. There's nothing worse than that. It's pretty tough.
There's nothing worse. I'm cool right now. Like
no, but luckily you said that.
And I don't increase. And me personally, I don't increase my expectations. How I started the start of this season, it's how I ended the start of the season. I said,
that is impressive.
I said on your podcast, I said we're gonna win 51. I said we're gonna win 50. I said we're gonna make the playoffs. All I want to do is just make the playoffs. Every goal that I had is completed. Like I said, everything. Like I said, every icing.
So we lose 4-0. You fine. So 4-0 is fine because everything good.
I would not like to be 4-0, but at least knowing. But at least if we do get swept, I do know like, okay, well, I should be able to know. All right, like who's not going to cut it? Like who do we need in free agency? At least I have a better understanding of like how my team is going to perform in the playoffs.
Call me frauds. They don't call me frauds, bro. I feel you.
No,
I feel it, bro. They'll call me frauds.
Let us be frauds. Hey, let us be frauds. Hey, you know what? Yeah, you know who else they called frauds? You know who else they called frauds? The Boston Celtics. Who? They never thought they felt like Jason Tatum wasn't going to be that guy that's going to get them to the playoffs and win the championship. They said it was too much money to give Jaylen Brown $200 million. They still won.
NBA Twitter. I know. I feel it. NBA Twitter not gonna like me though.
Get off Twitter then. gotta get off that Twitter, man.
Is NBA playoffs? Is that the most stressful in all sports, or is there anything more stressful than
that? Well, I think it is pretty stressful. I think, of course, the national championship in college basketball, college football, it's a one game. It's even the Super Bowl. It's the same thing. Yeah. Those one game championships, you could either suck, you could be really good, and that's just your legacy for that season, unfortunately. I think the series that we have, like an NBA, MLB, NHL, Game 7s are really stressful. Like, because that's the last game. That's it. Game 6 could be stressful if you're down 3-2. Well, you were down 3-2 regardless.
Yeah.
So
I think
you're up 3-2.
Even the earlier games too are stressed because you don't want to go down 2-0. And then it gets to 3-0.
Yeah, then you're cooked.
Like you want to win those first games. Even those are stressful. Like I would probably say the series, there's more stress just because you see more of it. For a championship, you only see one game. Oh, series.
Yeah.
You see 7 games and you feel like you're dying every single game because you don't
It's a
want to go
double-edged-
down. Like
It's a
it's a
double-edged
double-edged
sword.
sword. Exactly.
So if you picked in 7 games, right? What is the least stressful game then? Like out of all
Game
those
one.
7, if you game 1 the least
Game
stressful.
one. Yeah, game one.
Okay,
Because
good. Okay, game
they'll
1.
always frame it as like, oh, this was the fill out game. This was like we felt each other out, and then like no, it's not a real series until somebody, the away team wins. Like they'll say that all the time. So I'll say game 1.
And from there, what's the most important game besides the game 7?
It's always
Probably
game
game 3.
3. It's always
Yeah.
game 3.
Game 3.
Game 3. Yeah.
That's where
Wins.
that's where the tides really turn. That's where the pressure really gets. That's where the pendulum starts to sway.
Yeah.
So if you rank importance, let me just say, so 7 is number 1, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
You're saying number 3 is number 2?
Yes.
What you're saying?
Yeah, it could be game 6 as well if you're getting
It could-
eliminated.
For sure. But
Yeah.
It's the one
because somebody
between
is going to have to, like, someone's season is on the line always in the game 6.
Yeah.
So that also has a fair point there, right? So I would probably say game
Right.
6 should be number 3, since most likely someone's season's
Yeah.
on the line, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So game number 4, what should be game 5? Is that the 4th?
I think game 5 is more important. You're tied.
Game
you want to
5,
get the
game
lead.
5 is more
Break the
important
tie.
than 4.
Yeah.
You're either winning the series or you're breaking the tie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And then number 5, I think we have remaining is 2 and 4. So number 5, what is that?
Ooh. I think game 2 is pretty
I'll say
important.
game 2.
Yeah.
Game 2.
Game 4, if you're about to get swept, you have a long way to climb back up.
Yeah, like it's like game 4. That's a sense of false hope, especially if you're like down 3-0.
Sure,
That's just a sense of false hope. Like you're just keeping yourself from being legitimate swept. So I'll say 2 and 4.
Okay. So 2. Okay. This is something we gotta like. This is like some groundbreaking stuff. So 7, 3, 6, 5, and then what were we at after that? 5 is
2, 4.
where was
1?
1? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. 2, 4,
One
and
was
1.
dead
So
last.
1 is the least.
Yeah.
1 is dead last. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so for everyone, so the top 7 most important games in a playoff series. Number 1 is game 7. Number 2 is game 3. Number 3 is game 6. Number 4 is game 5. Number 5 is game 2. Number 6 is game 4. And the least important game in a playoff series is the very first one, game 1. So that is our lesson for everyone here. That's a solid list, and we'll see what TikTok says about it. Well, guys, definitely the next game is about to happen. This game seems like a blowout. Well, no, it's not. It actually came close. Okay, Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta about to get out of here. But no, Orlando might choke this. Everybody's gonna worry about the next game, so I'll watch that game and see how stressed that should be. Is there any final thoughts that you guys have before we log off?
Nah, nothing. Nothing at all.
Go ahead.
I don't think I have anything outside of what I said, man. I don't believe in firing coaches 1 year or mid-year. So stop scapegoating, man. Stop that scapegoating, man. Facts.
For that. All right, that's a good final thought.
That
For me, Rockets, you're back. Number 2 seed. And 50 wins is very impressive, regardless. 52 wins is very, very, very impressive. If you face Memphis, I feel confident. If you face Golden State, it was a hell of a ride. If you face Golden State, it was a hell of a ride.
Still confident, man.
I'll see y'all next year at that point. And with that, guys, if you're on here, make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, go follow these guys. Floor Space and the boys hit 5K. So go follow them. Greg, he's on the road to 1K. He's getting really close. So go follow him. Subscribe to him so he can get there. And subscribe to me because I've been in molasses. I'm trying to get 2K, boy, and it's been slowing down. The algorithm said F Jesse. So hey, help me out. If you on here, help me out. For the 5 or 4 people on here, help me out, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be more blunt on these podcasts because we have some breaking news on the podcast. I'm gonna be a little more like, hey, there's 3 people here. Y'all better be my 3 biggest fans because there's gonna be some changes in a couple months. Y'all not gonna I'm not going too deep. I'm not gonna spoil nothing. With that, thank you guys for coming on here. And with that, we'll catch you guys on the next podcast. We are out of here. Peace.